I'm Stevie Meach at Hair by Stevie on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and I'm here with Schwarzkopf USA today, and we're gonna be going over gray coverage as well as my mini highlight technique. This is a great technique to use in the salon to save your clients time and to be able to add add-ons to your services, make more money in less amount of time. I'm gonna be showing you guys what I love to use on my gray coverage clients, which is color 10. And just because it's my bread and butter doesn't mean that it's boring. After having a consult with her, we had decided that we definitely wanna blend out these grays and also add a little bit of dimension with keeping things very natural and low maintenance. I'm going to be doing what I would do in the salon if my client was coming in for gray coverage and I only had a certain amount of time to work with her. I do work with an assistant, and that does help me add in more clients and tweak my client services just by a little bit and be able to do add-ons. What I'm gonna be doing is showing you guys my signature mini foil placement, and this is going to give her a lot of impact without taking a lot of time. So this service would be, instead of doing a full gray coverage with a partial highlight, I'm going to be doing an express gray coverage with a mini foil. Okay guys, I'm gonna show you this awesome tool, and I'm kind of looking at what percentage of gray she's kind of falling in, and this is gonna help me with my formulation. And to me, she's looking like she's about 30% gray, kind of at about a 7.0, but I'm actually gonna be mixing a 6.0 just to give her a little bit more depth at that root. To do her highlights, I'm gonna be using VARIO Plus with 1 part powder and 2 parts 20 volume IGORA Developer. So when I'm thinking about my placement, I'm always thinking about where my client's parting their hair and where the hair naturally falls, because a lot of the time my clients will say that they part their hair one way or another, but it actually naturally falls in a completely different place, and that is where the hair is tending to be majority of the time. So her hair, she kind of likes to flip it on either side, but her hair is naturally falling right in here. So this is where I'm gonna kind of keep in mind that this is where her hair naturally wants to fall. And when I'm thinking about my foil placement, I'm also thinking about my client's hairline. So I'm always looking at where the recession kind of begins. Everybody has one. And so I'm going to take it right here. And this is gonna be where I start plugging in my face framing highlights. And this is really important for gray blending because your client usually is going to tend to have most of their grays all around their hairline. Looking at her hairline, I'm going to come in, my first foil is gonna be right here. And I'm not taking baby fine highlights because I don't want this to feel like she has one lighter color around her face. I love baby lights, they're so soft, but sometimes they can actually make the color look a little washed out because they're so fine. They give you more of like an overall lightness where I really want dimension. I like to flip my foils back. This is just how I learned to foil, so I kind of do it backwards. But I love it because it helps keep my sections clean, and I'm not leaving any hair in between. I am just going back to back on my foils just because I really want to blend away this gray. So because this is a mini foil, I'm not going for a lot of foils. I want to keep my foil placement easy, and I want to keep it with less is more. That is the theory here, because time is money, and I'm squeezing her in to my day. So I'm now going to tee this off. So I'm connecting this foil to this foil, and all of these foils will connect. So it will have a nice pattern. And I'm making sure that I'm leaving wider pieces between. This is what's going to give me dimension. Another tip I love when I'm doing my foil placement like this is I'm able to come back through Open up my foil, touch it up. And this is it on my side. Now I'm going to replicate this on the other side. So now that I'm coming into this portion of the hairline, I'm also going to be mindful, she has a lot of baby hairs here. I'm going to leave those alone because if we continuously put lightener on those little baby hairs, they're never gonna grow. So I'm actually going to, because she has a little bit of a widow's peak, I'm going to take right here in the middle of this section, and keeping my sections clean are gonna help me work through this section even faster. And I'm connecting this all the way through, even though I have a little tiny bit of those baby hairs. And I'm gonna show you guys what I'm going to do. So I'm gonna actually drop out this little middle portion right here. And then I'm going to pick up tiny little pieces, leaving this piece alone for more natural looking hairline area if she ever pulls her hair back. So it's not overwhelmingly light. My next section is not going to have any hair in between. It's gonna be a back-to-back, keeping it consistent with the side pieces over here. And now I'm going to replicate the same thing on this side. So now that I'm in the back, again, this entire technique is gonna be about connection. So I am looking at where my two foils came to, and now I'm gonna connect them right here. And I'm also keeping in mind where someone's natural cowlick is. So I've already kind of done this on her. She's not splitting past this point. That's something to really keep in mind when you're thinking about your back foil placement, because you can also take larger sections in between to help you with time, but to also make sure that there's coverage under the split in case the split, sometimes when you get oilier, it just splits a little bit further down. Coming in, and I'm going to be mindful that I picked up these corner pieces, so I'm actually gonna drop out my corner and not pick it up on the very corners. And I'm not worried about this little piece. I'm just gonna come in with my fingers and dust it off. Fold my foil down and then get it in right at the top there. This is where to utilize this, and on the very corners is where you're gonna utilize your space, which is also your time. So my neck section here, I'm taking probably about a ½ inch between my last section. You also don't want a ton of foils right here at this back part because it's just gonna look really blonde, and you're gonna watch the hair grow out there. And I'm gonna use the same sectioning in between foils again for this part. If you guys are going to be cheating anywhere, it's in the back and it's underneath. Those are your cheat zones. Those are my cheat zones because all of the other areas of the head are going to basically fall like a sheet over the top of these sections. So no one's going to see it because all the other hair is gonna overlay over the top of that. So this is where I'm now going to tee in and connect both my front to my back. And I could have even left this foil out and made it a little bit wider, but that's okay. I'm gonna also be connecting on this side, taking larger distances now between here and here. All of these hairs that I'm gonna be bringing over are gonna overlay everything else, so I can cheat in this middle part. So now the rest of my placement is going to be just like this. So I'm not coming through and foiling this way because this I feel like gives you more stripes and you're gonna have to put in way more foils for it to be time efficient. So I'm going to actually build on my time going this way. So now I'm coming up onto my last two pieces, and this is where you're going to utilize not leaving out a veil in your section. So I'm going to split it in half, and the reason why I go back and forth, I'm working on both sides when I come up to my last few foils, just to keep things really even, and also to make sure that I'm even on my sectionings in between, or my veils that I'm leaving out, so that everything is symmetrical. And because she's parting her hair either way, that's why I'm going to do this. You could also put back-to-back foils in along like a hard part if they had it, but just for this particular case, I've just kind of based it off of the middle now. So I'm going to adjust. So this is my half. So I'm making sure that I'm actually going to be picking up that first weave up against my foil so that I have max brightness along the hairline. You guys can see, again, my weaves are smaller in here, but I'm also making sure I'm leaving hair in between. So this is not like a baby light. It's just a finer weave. And this is my last foil again, and I'm thinking about kind of how I did my one on the other side, making sure that I'm picking up my last hair here, and I do not have to pick up this hair in between. I'm making sure I'm leaving it out because I have a foil right here. If I were to pick that up, I'd feel like I had a blonde blob right in the middle. So this is my mini foil placement with maximum coverage, and this was 20 foils that I put in. And we're gonna come back to do toning and coverage in just a minute. Sometimes in the salon, if I do run low on my 10-minute color, I do add a little bit of Royale to my formula. As long as I'm using 50% or more of the 10-minute color, it will still work. It's not manufacturer recommended, but it's something that works for me. And I'm gonna go ahead and mix in with my formula, which was a 6.0 in 10-minute color, a little bit of 6.0 in IGORA Royale, and a little bit of 6.4 10-minute and 6.6 in 10-minute. Color 10 is an amino acid delivery technology, meaning they allow color pigment to penetrate quicker and also have more pigments in a tube, allowing processing time to be shorter. It is not a progressive color, but if left on too long, hair may appear darker because of the extra pigment. I am not waiting for my client to process on her foils. Because I am able to use 10-minute color, I'm not having to wait 30 minutes. So I'm able to look and see, are her foils close to being ready to pull, in which they are. So now I'm gonna go ahead and just go right over, touch up my root, wait 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna rinse her out in toner. So when I'm coming in to touch up my gray coverage clients, I am zapping those roots away, and I'm applying it fairly quick, but I'm also making sure that my sections aren't too wide so that I can make sure that I'm fully saturating. And I'm going to double check and make sure that all of my sections, I haven't missed one, because that is the worst, is if you miss one little gray hair. So we're gonna be double checking everything too. This is my basic gray coverage application with foils, and I'm gonna be really, really cautious around this hairline, making sure I get every little hair, because this is where you can kind of miss one. So as I'm going through, I'm alternating my sections to make sure I'm getting in where all of these little T-zones meet. We are all wrapped up with our application, and now we are going to let this process for 10 minutes. I have just added one folded towel on top with one towel over the top of that, just to trap in a little bit of heat and finish off my lift on these top foils. So I'll see you guys in a few minutes. My formula for toner is going to be an 846, a 60, and a 646, and I'm going to be using half 846, and then 1/4 of 60, 1/4 of 646. So the reason why I'm going to be using more of the 846 is because I want to create a little bit more of like a level 7.5. So if I were to use equal parts of 6 and 8, I would be creating a 7. And I just wanna make it a little bit lighter because I can always retone if I were to want to, but I really wanna maintain the brightness. Now going to begin styling her, and I'm going to be using the OSIS grip for a little bit of volume and body. And when I apply this, I'm going to apply it a little lower, and then I'm going to bring it up into the top, just to avoid an over product feeling in the hair. I'm also going to be using OSIS Upload, one pump, and again, I'm going to work it into the ends and then bring it up a little bit higher without putting it fully on her root. I'm going to finish off her look using FIBRE CLINIX sealed ends, just a little bit. And I'm going to put this in the ends of her hair just to make them feel nice and soft without bringing anything up higher, so she doesn't feel like she has a lot of product in her hair. And now we're going to blow dry, and we'll be right back. Okay guys, this is my finished look of my mini foil placement along with my gray coverage technique. And for my formulation, I ended up using color 10, 60, 64, 66, and a little bit of that IGORA 60 as well with 20 volume. I ended up doing a nice tone using VIBRANCE 646 and 846. And you guys can see this is her up top at her root, and everything is very blendy, but again gives a lot of dimension, which was our goal today, and also time saving. So if I was behind the chair doing this start to finish, I could probably get her in and out within an hour and a half, which is excellent to be able to upsell your clients on foiling, even if they're just in for a gray coverage touch-up appointment. There are a lot of options in the gray coverage toolbox with Schwarzkopf. My personal favorite that I've been using on all my clients is, again, color 10. I just can simplify and also expedite my time behind the chair as well as my client's time behind the chair, because I can shave off an easy 20 minutes off of processing time, which I appreciate and my client very much appreciates as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, just because this is a bread and butter service doesn't mean it has to be boring. Like and subscribe for more education and more info. Follow Schwarzkopf USA on YouTube and Instagram.